Brothers and sisters, I won't talk further on this. I will allow time and the Holy Spirit that has revealed this to me by the mercy of the Lord will bring us interpretation and give us understanding. But we need to know this, brothers and sisters, that something is about to be released into the world from the ocean. Something is coming. So we need to understand that the trumpet sound was the release of what has come to the shore. Daniel saw beast rising from the sea. In the book of Revelation, John also saw similar beast, not like what I saw, but they saw different beasts that rise out of the sea, rise out of the earth. So brothers and sisters, I believe similar things is about to be taking place, made manifest in our time. Now, on the 14th of January 2023, I saw, as the Lord reveals to me by his own great mercy, I was on a path, and in this path, it was flooded with water. So when I tried to take this path, it was impossible because it was flooded with water. So I turned back as I was moved in the spirit into a house. When I stepped into that house, I realized that that house was owned by a Jewish family, the man and the wife and their children. And immediately when I stepped into that house, a day went by. And in the morning, towards in the morning, I heard weeping in the house. The man and the wife, they were weeping bitterly. When I heard them cry, I stood up to see what was happening. And it was given to me to understand that they were weeping because that same day, a son was taken from them. So they were weeping because the reason for their weeping was because that same moment, that day, a son was taken to them from them. Means by death. Means death came to them and took away a son from them. So I understood that it was a general weeping day for the Jewish people. That they weep because that particular day, sons were taken from them. Their children were
As the
killed.
Lord spoke through his servant about a Jewish family weeping because sons were taken from them by dead. And the Lord said it was a general weeping day for the Jews. So Yom HaZikaron is Israel's memorial day. Yom HaZikaron is a remembrance day for the fallen soldiers of the wars of Israel and victims of terrorism is Israel's official day of remembrance for fallen Israeli soldiers and terrorism victims, enacted into Israeli law in 1963.
When I heard this weeping, the weeping was bitterly. They wept severely. So when I heard this weeping, I came out of the house. When I came out of the house, I realized it was open sea that stood before this house. And when I look at my left of this house, I saw there were other houses on my left, and they were all along the seashore. And on my right, I saw there were other houses. They were all along the seashore. And this was open sea. So when I look all these things, and I look up in the heavens, and I saw a great sign that appeared in the heavens, and I saw it was written, manna, means the word manna, M-A-N-N-E-R, the same manna which the Israelites ate when they were in the wilderness, when they came out of Egypt. I saw it was written in heaven, clearly, manna. So when I looked steadfastly at this great sign, I saw how the sign flew away from the heavens. And immediately as the sign disappeared from heaven, then I heard a trumpet was blown. That sound in the whole area. So when I heard the trumpet, the trumpet was blown like up to a minute. When I heard the trumpet, I realized that everyone in that region heard the same trumpet. So they came out of their houses. They were wondering, where was this trumpet blown? And who was blowing this trumpet? So when I stood at the bank of the sea, at the shore of the sea, I looked steadfastly. I saw an image that looks like a son of man, but this image was an image of light, that held the trumpet in his hand and was blowing. So when I looked steadfastly, I saw no more this being, this angelic being that looks like light and with a trumpet that looks like a light, was no more in the place which I saw. And immediately after the trumpet, I looked on my left at the bank of the sea, at the shore of the sea, in between the sea and the houses, and a walking path that separates the houses and the shore. I look at the bank, I saw the water moving, coming. So when I looked steadfastly by the Holy Spirit, I saw a beast, a dreadful beast, rolling from the sea and was coming towards to the shore. So everyone who came out saw such a dreadful beast. Now listen to this, brothers and sisters. When I focused to look at this beast, I saw how the beast came out of the water, came to the walking path that separates the sea and the houses, and I saw this beast in a word I cannot describe because it is something I have never seen. In size, in length, and in height. And the face of this beast is undescribable. And when I look at this beast that came on the shore, on this walking path and stood, and everywhere was tension. Now, listen to this. It was not only the beast that came out of the water. After him came another dreadful beast. Not exactly the same like the first beast. Its shape and size was different, and it was very dreadful to look upon. And in my environment where I stood, there were many people, there were tension. Everyone that looked at this beast was having tension, there was panic. And I saw something very strange. I saw in our midst, I saw dogs, D-O-G-S. Many dogs also came out and saw this dreadful beast. And when they saw it, they were also afraid. And I stood with so much fright within me. And a boldness came upon me to approach this beast. And this boldness came from the Lord by the Holy Spirit to ask the name of this beast. So I approached the beast and I demanded, "Who are you?" And in my greatest surprise, this beast that looks like a Leviathan, which is not a Leviathan, spoke to me and gave me his name. And I heard the name, but for whatever reason, it was not permitted for me to understand. And I demand the name the second time. "Who are you?" And the beast said to me, "I have already spoken to you. I have already given to you my name." And when he said that, I felt the dread that came from the beast towards everyone. And immediately venoms that looks like green left the beast, was released from the beast to those animals, those dogs. And any animal that contacted that venom, they become rebellious and wild and go against another dogs. And when I saw these things, it fades away. Now, the Lord gave me understanding that the dogs which were around these two dreadful beasts and the venom that came out of this dreadful beast that went into the dogs and caused these dogs to be very wild and violent, and they went after other dogs and after other people. The Lord made me to understand that these dogs represent other nations which this beast will possess and influence, because the venom that came out of these two dreadful beasts was what made these dogs to be what? To be very violent, and they went after other dogs
and they went after people, and there was a lot of tension. So these two beasts represent a two mighty nation that the powers of darkness will come upon them, and they will go against Israel. And when they will go against Israel, they will corrupt other nations. They will corrupt other nations, and these other nations will begin to go after other nations to corrupt them, and they will begin to go against God's people. They will begin to go against Israel. That was what the Lord explained to me, that the venom that came out of this beast.
Now, brothers and sisters, I want to say something which we all need to pay attention on. The first thing which I saw in all this was a part, many part that was flooded with water, and it was raining. That is the first thing which the Lord wants us to pay attention. Raining and flooding. Now, I don't have all the understanding of what I saw, but I want to point out by the Holy Spirit certain important things which I saw in this great vision. And there is something I want to say, my dear brothers and sisters. There are many of you who are wise in understanding. The Lord will help you to understand. And I will be praying whenever the Lord gives me a clear understanding, I will come back and bring understanding to us. But I felt in my spirit that this should be made known to the world. Like John in the book of Revelation, there are many things he saw, but yet he had no understanding. Jeremiah, Daniel, there are many things which they saw, but it was written down, but understanding was given to them at the appointed time. So I'm speaking this to us, brothers and sisters, without having full understanding of this vision. But there are many of you, as I said earlier, that have understanding and wisdom, will know what the Spirit of the Lord is saying to the churches and to the world in these last days. So the first thing we need to pay attention, brothers and sisters, is the rain and the flooding part. Secondly, we need to pay attention on the Jews and the weeping which they wept bitterly because of their son which were killed. And that same day was the particular day that those sons or daughters were killed. So they were mourning. We should pay attention on the Jews and the mourning which they were mourning. That is the second. The third thing we need to pay attention is the manna which appears in the heavens that flews away.
Manna was a supernatural supply from God to the Israelites when they were in the wilderness. So the manna which appears in the heaven, the Lord explained to me, he said, as the Jews will go through difficult time, that will cause them to lose soldiers, sons, that will cause Rachel to weep for her children because they are no more. He said, but the Lord said he will rain down manna from heaven. Means there will be a supernatural interference, supernatural support from the Lord upon the Jews, upon the Israelites in this tough time. So the Jews should expect a supernatural assistance from the Lord to help them in this battle.
And thirdly, fourthly, we need to pay attention on the trumpet that sounds up to a minute, which an angel was blowing. And lastly, which is the fifth thing, we should pay attention on the two dreadful beasts that came out of the sea. And I believe one of the last things we can also think about, why were there dogs around and why were the dogs affected by this venom? So brothers and sisters, I may not communicate everything which I saw, but this we should pay attention. Shalom.